floor culture and floor perspective video. So essentially I wanted to use this culture, this perspective, to improve health, quality of life, but without always having to have a structured routine. Many times and many often we find ourselves, doing the routine, going to the gym. What I invite you to now start doing is, of course, incorporating some kind of movement and physicality into your life. If you're training, great. You're moving, great. You got the routine, fantastic. I want to add a little bit more, lime to the dish, so to speak. So this floor culture, floor perspective, essentially just came from, honestly, this yoga block and the setup that you see here right now. And so with that being said, I have spent quite a lot of time on the floor. I've been in different cultures in the world, things of that nature, and you can see that a lot of the times people actually spend lots of time on the floor. They get away from the chair. So what's this beauty that the floor provides you? Well, first and foremost, if you're on the floor, you aren't on a chair. So I'm sitting and my hip bones are actually active. They aren't just relaxed onto a chair. I'm in a cross-legged posture, right? Here's the other concept with that. When I'm on the floor, chances of me moving more happen. So what I mean by that is, if I'm working here, which is quite literally my office space, right? I'll be in different positions. I'll be in, I'll probably be like this, which is known as the Z shape. So I'll show you right here. The hips in this position, also kind of known as like a 90-90. Kids tend to sit like this a lot. I tend to usually get myself into a deep squat pattern, and I can start working, right? So one of the things I love to do, I love to spend time in the squat. You should all know that by now. This is a no-brainer. So if I'm spending time in the squat, another thing that I do is, of course, I'm working here. I add these yoga blocks. Don't worry, it never falls. So now it's at eye level with me, right? This is another thing that I tend to do a lot. Now I can work here. I can work cross-legged, right? I can work in a straddles position just to kind of, again, train my sit bones, train my core so that it doesn't cave in. It's nice and upright. I can go bent leg position. Once again, I can extend my legs, kind of get into this bit of a half split, so to speak. So there's a lot of great things that you can continue exploring with the floor here. So moreover, what I also would like to add on is, of course, if I'm here working on my laptop, I have different aspects of things. I can, again, the box of truth. This could be a box from your sneaker box. This could be a box from the garbage outside. This could be anything. You can make your own box. There is no preferable dimension. Of course, this couch here is acting as my desk, so you can have a small desk as well. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to copy exactly what I'm doing here, but I am giving you some perspective. And let's say, for example, I'm here. This box elevation immediately fixes my posture. So I'm no longer kind of slumped over in this kyphotic position, whereas now I have this kind of erect, tall posture, and it's not on purpose. It's because the eyes go wherever my eyes go. The rest of my body follows. Essentially from the eyes down, the whole entire body will continue moving. So it's like when you're squatting, for example, or you're doing chin-ups, people usually say, look up so you can go back up as strong and as efficient as possible. And there's another thing just having a box like this can do for you. So again, if I'm here, right, I kind of have this a bit more of a rounded kyphotic posture, and I get to fix this. So what do we have going on here, right? I got the box. I have a nice erect posture. I'm training my body, my brain to do so. In essence, I'm also training my environment to assist me in my journey here of, just health. Now, you don't have to do so many different thousands of exercises, and while granted things have a time and place, you can also incorporate it in your day-to-day living. So here's another concept of it all. Got my laptop, right? Let's say, for example, I have issues sitting down. maybe my hips need assistance with some more load, so to speak, or my hips need a little bit more leverage. Again, a yoga block. This could also be, you know, a pillow, so to speak. But with the block, I really like the block because now I'm in this squat position, right? So what happens here? I have a few options. Yet again, I come back into the same exact setup, and now I'm not so rounded anymore, right? I'm kind of like this. And if I wanted to, of course, take it to another notch, boom. And one more time with the box of truth, right here. So this is now what's happening, right? Now I have my thighs pressed up against me. My thighs are above my hips, which is where we want our squat to be, you know, the original toilet. So now we have a lot of great things happening. The hips are getting a nice training effect, but you're not burning out. The ankles, the hips, the posture are all settling in. I can also play with different positions. Let's say, for example, I like the internal rotation with my knees coming this way. You know, I can play around like this in this position as well. A lot of people sometimes tend to over-exacerbate their squat, and this probably comes from when they squat down, they open up their groin. So this is another tool in the box. And again, what is this saying? This is saying that the more time I spend in certain positions, the more acclimated I get. Regarding posture now, posture is something that we normally tend to think of as, you know, you have bad posture. But the reality is that your posture is really a reflection of yourself, the environment that you are in. Your body essentially for the next 8 hours has been taught to either be kyphotic, like this, or active. Whatever the case may be, you have the power to choose where you want your body to be acclimated and adapted to. So we as the human being, we have this beautiful mechanism to adapt into many, many things. So this is why if you're on the floor, you're constantly always gonna keep moving. Why is this? Here's a few reasons why. Number one, if I'm in a squat, I can only stay in this position, you know, working on my computer for so long, right? At a point in time, I'm gonna burn out. Shins, hips, ankles. Now for me, I can stay here for about a good hour or so. I've practiced this. Now, somebody, the layman, somebody regular getting into this, may want to only be here for 5 minutes, you know? And I implore you not to even stay in the squat for an hour. I would implore you again to explore different movement. Now, here's the caveat to shifting in different positions. You want to have your skin conditioned to the floor. So, here's exactly what I mean. You could be in shorts, you can roll up your sweatpants, whatever the case may be. If this hurts too much on the skin, then I suggest wearing sweatpants or maybe having some kind of yoga mat padding, right? So with that being said, what happens now? Now I'm here in this kind of like a Z-shaped position, which is one of the fundamental archetype movements that we as humans actually tend to sit a lot on. I'm nice and square, my hips are stacked. Next thing you know, glute medius, hips, everything is getting a nice work here. This is the daily fix. This is the restorative practice. Putting movement into your life to be essentially cultured into your life. How do you move? What do you do? It's like, you know, those animal channels, they say, and now the giraffe is going into the wild to do its daily drink of water or something like that. What do you do? You know, what time is it? What time do you do your movement? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, get these movement snacks in, things of that nature. So, you know, I play with it. I get cognizant of some of my movement. I extend my leg, right? So I can sit like this, you know. Another position, if you see now in the program as well, I have a lot of kind of compression exercises, so to speak, exercises to condition other parts of the body. So now I'm also here. I'm in this toe stretch, right? And a lot of the times you'll see people when you know, different cultures, especially in Asia, they actually sit like this. You know, they sit in the toe stretch position. A lot of martial arts people do this as well. Karate, Kung Fu, you know, even parts in Muay Thai. The other aspect of it is now getting a stretch on the Achilles, right? So again, what happens here? I'm already conditioned to this, but a lot of people are not. So what happens is now that I'm in this position here, again, now I'm stretching the ankles out, the calves, knees, quads. The shin bones are getting nice conditioning to the floor. These things keep you youthful. They keep you young and spry. My nephew Nathaniel is moving everywhere on the floor. He's 1 year old and he dominates the floor space. And so I see him alternating in these different positions, from the Japanese chair to on all fours crawling, of course. He's in the fisherman squat, as they call it. Literally, this is the fisherman squat right here. Now a whole bunch of those on one leg, but now I'm also getting a nice work on the shin once again. And you can use your training wheels, you can use your hands if need be, but again, the whole purpose is get some conditioning into the body. There's a lot of movement artistry out there, such as like capoeira, where you see them on the floor a lot. And these type of athletes or martial artists, they're on the floor, they touch the floor. Dancers touch the floor a lot. So I've worked out with athletes who are D1 level, Olympic level, high level athletes, who sometimes when they get on the floor and I have them do a stretch like that, it kills them. Some people are just like, it's like hot lava, like they can't do it. So one of the most important things is to, of course, maintain contact with what you're doing here, the floor and all these good things. So moreover, another aspect to it is the perspective in which it provides you, the human, or daily restorative practice. So the perspective here, right, is again, move more, right? We've got that covered. Move in different positions for the body getting acclimated and adapted. Of course, the skin as well. Your feet will thank you, okay? This is the other thing with the feet. The more you can get your feet in contact with the earth, with the floor, the better it is for the whole entire chain. I must repeat that. The more you can actually move your feet, wiggle your toes and all this stuff, and the ankles, the better it is for everything. The knee structure will be stable and firm, and it can take hits. It can take plyometric landing. It can take the bounces, the landing, the torque from bending and wobbling left and right. Your hips and your quads can be firm and strong like steel. So it all begins here. All of this that's happening here gives information to the body. So the more we can understand that everything works as a chain, and the more I spend in these certain positions, overall you will get your health back, and beyond that, enhanced. So we can add more things into the perspective of just being on the floor more. What happens? Again, we visit another position of movement. Let's say now I got my laptop here on the floor. I give you guys a bit of a wider view. Right there's good. Okay, bang. Now we have another one called the Sphinx pose. And the Sphinx pose, I have my clients do this all the time. I'm here on the floor, and what happens is now you have the elbows involved. Now you also have a nice stretch in the anterior chain from the diaphragm to the lower back. And what I can do here is, of course, I can type away, work on my laptop. Can I get my yoga blocks involved? Sure, no problem. No problem. I can do all of that good stuff. What I can also do is actually get a good stretch of the neck and shoulders, right? So I can just work here a little bit, do some head nods. Again, this is part of one of those archetype of positions that we tend to just sit on. And so this overall just encompasses everything, This is why this is the daily restorative practice. So I invite you to move more into these positions, right? Move into sitting into a middle split, just playing like this, have your posture erect. Get into some of these Z shapes. Get into, cross leg. Try lotus pose from yoga. Touch your feet more, This is a classic one for people with plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis issues. Your hands meet your actual toes, each gap. You could just spend some time here, right? Holding them like that. You could do circles, move them down, give yourself some self massages. All that stuff is critical in your practice of movement. And I highly recommend you do this because it will fix your posture, it will help your ankles, it will help your feet, which overall helps the inside and the structure of your body. Moreover, you spend less time away from the chair. So you will notice how this will help you in so many different ways. The other thing I wanted to add in is if you have a pillow, right? A lot of these small trinkets in our house can make big differences to our posture. So here's something that you can do. Boom. If your knees can't take the pain of sitting down in the Japanese pose, now you're here. You know? Knees can take it here. If your feet have issues, here's what I do. Bam. Switch it over. And there we go. I can go even further with it. If I can't reach that position, now I got these yoga blocks, and now I can be here. And what happens again? I'm now at eye level with my Puma box here. You know, again, the posture is erect. If I want to go even more further, I get the knees wider, right? So I get more stretch in the metatarsals of the ankles, and now I'm here. And I can play with this position until this position feels a little bit too uncomfortable. So this is the idea. This is the culture. This is the perspective. So you move more so you can be healthy more. So you have more options available to you so that when you are hurt, you can rehab and prehab with more options in the toolbox. Be strong, stay healthy, keep moving. Thank you so much for checking this video out and just looking into what the daily perspective of restorative practice and physical movement is. Thank you.